Hi there, this is a makeup tutorial for beginners. It will be step by step, it will be super detailed. So before we get into it, I just want to say a disclaimer. I am not a professional makeup artist, I am just a makeup enthusiast. Just like you, I'm a beginner, maybe more intermediate. And these are the things that I've learned over the years from YouTube, Instagram, as well as TikTok that have worked for me, and I want to share with you just to make life easier, because I know how daunting it can be at the beginning when you're trying to learn how to apply makeup. Okay, so step number one is your skincare. You need to start off on a fresh, clean face. I've made sure to cleanse my skin, I've moisturized, and I've also added sunscreen. So because of that, I don't feel like I need a barrier in between my skin and the makeup. So when it comes to the primer step, I will focus more on mattifying my skin. So if you do have dry skin, this is the time to go ahead and use an illuminating primer, a hydrating primer. Pat it in, pat it in. This is just to make sure that it doesn't disturb whatever is on your skin. So it doesn't disturb the sunscreen, it doesn't, because sometimes what can happen with the primers is they can the formulas between your primer and your skincare may not be compatible, so it may cause some type of flakes, it may rub off, it can like become white. So by tapping it in instead of like rubbing it in is always the best way to go. So the areas that I want mattified are now mattified. Let's move on to the next step, color correction. So I use an orange color corrector because it'll neutralize the dark marks. What happens is that, yes, the foundation will cover them up, but it will not cover them up enough, so you'll see them turning grayish under the foundation, and we don't want that. I mix the color corrector with a skin tone or concealer, and the reason is because sometimes what can happen is if you use too much orange color corrector, or if you don't blend it in properly, it can mix with your foundation and turn your foundation orange. Pat. My mouth. Under my eyes. A little goes a long way with color correcting. A little goes a long. Okay, so at the end you're gonna look like this. You're gonna look orange and odd, but you can see the dark marks have been neutralized. As an extra precaution to ensure that the foundation doesn't mix with this orange color corrector, I go in with a skin tone powder. Because I have such oily skin, my brows moves a lot. They move a lot. So to keep them in place, I use this brow soap. So I spray a bit of setting spray onto this. Brush it into the brows like this. So brush the product into the brows like this. Then you're gonna brush your brows up. Skin tone concealer on my hand, using that flat brush, and carve out the bottom. So you just follow your natural brow shape to carve out the bottom. It took a lot of hardship just to learn how not to break down and stop it. No matter what I've seen in the past, I won't let it impact. I'll be grown out, baby. So this is how it looks. Now it's time to fill in the brows. I apply foundation from the center of my face and then I move out. So you're gonna use your finger to spread it out. Use your finger to spread it out. from the center to the outside. Use your finger to spread it out from the center of your face to the outside. Okay, now I'm taking some more and I'm placing it here and I'm spreading it out. Spreading it out, spreading it out. Taking a little bit, placing it on my nose over here, and I'm spreading it out. So you can see I'm going in layers, a little bit at a time. And then if you're not happy with the coverage, build it up a little bit at a time. Okay. Taking some more. I'm going to be using a makeup sponge. Got this from Dragon City or China Mall. You're just gonna place it under water until it's wet and until it increases in size, and then you're just going to wring it out until all the water is gone. Like, you can even use a towel to move excess water. All the water needs to be out. As you press it, as you squeeze it, no water should be coming out. That's when you know you're ready. It should feel wet on your face, but there should be no water coming out. So I'm gonna use the butt of this beauty blender and I'm just gonna lightly tap, pounds to blend it into your skin, to have it looking as one cohesive layer on your face. So now on the forehead, I take a little bit on the beauty blender and then I diffuse it out. So I tap and then I pounce it a bit just to diffuse it, and then we go and we apply on the forehead area. And again, you make sure to blend it into your hairline. Blend it into the hairline. Blend it into your ears. Also, if you're gonna be wearing white, don't blend it down any further. But if you're gonna be wearing something like I'm wearing, blend it down into the neck. Blend it down into the neck. Now let's move on to highlighting and contouring. The foundation did its job. It created this beautiful, nice, seamless, even toned canvas, but we lost the structure. You look flat, you look one-dimensional. So that's why we highlight and we contour. But as a beginner, I say don't go too light or too dark. So when you are highlighting, maybe go a shade or two lighter than your own skin tone. You're highlighting to bring those areas forward. Using this side now of the beauty blender, I usually start in the center and then I finish around my eyes. So you're gonna use the same motion. You're just gonna lightly pounce, lightly tap, lightly pounce, lightly tap. And this is the Catrice Hydrating Concealer in Cool Espresso. So it's not too light. It really is not too light. I think it's perfect for beginners. So I'm lightly tapping and pouncing. You're gonna lightly, and then here you're gonna pinch it. You can see here, you see I didn't pinch it. What happened? You're gonna pinch it and then you're gonna go down, go up the nose, go up the nose. Go up the nose, and then you're gonna again lightly tap, lightly pounce in a circular motion like here. So around here, you see it's not that light, like it's not that light. Lightly tap it here and then you're gonna move it up. So you're gonna look up the whole time, and you're gonna move it up your eye, closer to your eye. Look up the whole time. So as you get closer to the eye area, that inner eye area, you're gonna look up the whole time. Okay? And alrighty. And you're gonna do the same thing here. You're gonna blend it, and then when you're ready to move it up, you're gonna move your eyes up. So you're gonna look up the whole time. Okay. To remove any lines of demarcation between your concealer and your foundation, you're going to use that back part that you use to blend the foundation, and in between those two areas you're just going to lightly tap to remove any lines of demarcation. Lightly tap. And now we're going to contour. That's not when we add the shadows back into your face. It will be cool toned, and it will be around like 3-4 shades darker than your own skin tones. You diffuse it on the back of your hands. You're still using that tip, but you use the side that doesn't have the highlighting concealer, so this side. For me, as reference, I use my ear. So I come through from my ear, that's where I will contour. So from my ear, I will just go like this. And for beginners, everything should be subtle. Don't go too light with your contour. Don't go too dark with your contour. Don't go too light with your highlighter, because it's easier to blend it out. It's just easier. As you become more advanced, then you can go like very light and very dark. Okay, you can see it. You can see it. Now it's time to blend it out. When you're blending it out, you blend it up. So you blend it up. You can see I'm blending, I'm grinding it up, 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 up. I'm blending it up. And I'm pouncing again. Those light tapping motion, but in an upward direction. Upward, upward, upward. You can see it's very subtle. If you feel like you want to deepen it with the powder. And then again, those lines of demarcation, the butt of the sponge that I use to apply the foundation. And I just go under it and I pounce, tap, tap, tap lightly to diffuse any lines of demarcations. Tap, tap, tap lightly to diffuse any lines of demarcation. Tap, tap, tap lightly to diffuse any lines of demarcation. Now I know you're probably wondering, why am I not doing on the forehead? That is where the bronzer is gonna come. We're gonna come through with the powder bronzer and we'll add warmth to the forehead area. Okay, so light tapping motions always when you're using the beauty sponge. Light tapping motions. Light tapping motions. And then you're gonna tap it. So you're gonna start at the apple of your cheeks and then move it out in a C upwards. Okay, so this is where the apple of my cheeks are, the highest point of the cheek, where the cheek is protruding. And then you tap it. Light tapping motions, light tapping, you move it up. And with blush, don't be afraid to even move it close to this area over here. Any lines of demarcation, you're gonna clear them up. So now it's time to set with powder. Make sure that there's no creasing or separation before you apply the powder, and then without looking up, you're gonna press. See, I'm not even looking. You're gonna press a little bit on your hand, on your beauty sponge, looking while looking up, and then you're going to press it in, 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 press it in under the eyes and everywhere else you applied that highlighting foundation, that highlighting concealer. Okay, I mean, it doesn't matter if there's now a mark. Set, that it looks not set. And you're going to do the same on the other side. It's going to look up, tap, 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 lightly tap. So you're going to lightly tap to remove any creasing or separation. And you're going to this. If you want to, you can diffuse it on the back of your hand before you go in under your eyes. Okay, you press it in, press, 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 because we're not baking, we are setting. So you're just going to press it in so it gets absorbed into your skin. Okay, press, press, press. And then you're going to do the same for everywhere else that you highlighted. So here, 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 and here. To deepen that contour, now let's do the bronzer. This is the bronzer. This will add warmth. So you tap, swirl, dust off the excess, and I'm adding the bronzer on the other side. In between where I added the blush and the contour, that's where I will add the bronzer. And again, I'm holding it at the ends, and I'm just using these nice, just light sweeping motions, and I'm moving up into the forehead. And this is now where I come and I just add warmth to my forehead area. And like I said with the beginner, with these bronzers and these contours, don't go too dark, you know, don't go too dark compared to your skin tone. Maybe as you master, you can go like 5 shades deeper and 10 shades deeper, but for now just go like a few shades deeper than your own skin tone. And then you can even add some structure back to your jawline. To bring this all together, we're gonna add face powder all over the skin. Press, you swirl, tap off the excess, and you're just gonna, so everywhere we didn't add any powder, you add this face powder, and also over your contour, just to bring it in all together. Okay, so you're probably wondering now, what about the nose? Are we not going to do a nose contour? I'm just going to take like a fluffy brush such as this, and you're going to use that bronzer color, not the contour color. So we don't want your nose contour to be too harsh, so we're going to go into that bronzer color, dust off the excess, and you're going to start off from your brows, and you're just going to lightly sweep. So you follow the structure of your own nose, and you're just going to lightly sweep it down. Like, we're not doing anything too harsh. Like I said, with beginners, we're nothing too harsh. We don't go too light, we don't go too dark when it comes to the highlighters and the bronzers and the contours. So most of it should be here. So you're placing most of it from the brows and in here, and then whatever is left you'll just sweep down the bridge of the nose. So your main concern is from the brows and into this area here, and then whatever is left you sweep it down the nose. So the reason why I'm not using a flat brush is because that will make it like very defined, and we don't want that. And then I will then blend whatever into the eyes, blend it into the brows, blend it into the eyes. Now for the eyes, it's simple. You use that bronzer color and you just sweep it over your eyes. Like, it really is that simple. Like, in circular motion you just sweep it over your eyes, like all over your eyes. Just add a sweep of color all over your eyes, like all over your lid, haphazardly, like you don't care here. Haphazardly, just sweep it over your. And then what you're gonna do now is, using the same brush, you're gonna go into now this contour color. Okay, press it in, swirl, dust off the excess, and then you're gonna try and isolate, just to add some contour and definition to your eyes. You're gonna try and isolate where your brow bone is. So you're gonna press into your eyes and see where the brow bone is, and then you're gonna add color over there. So you're just gonna sweep that color nicely, just to lightly contour your eye. And then you're gonna also use it to darken this area. So over here, and darken this area. And then you do the same on the other side. You isolate your brow bone, and that's where you add this color. And then you're using nice, just circular motions. And I'm holding my brush here. Nice circular motion. I'm holding it at the end because I don't want this look to be super defined. I just need it to be like very subtle. And then you deepen the corners. Deepen the corners. Go in. Just then use that powder brush just to blend everything in. So you start at the ends, you wiggle it in, then you move it up. You start at the ends, at the roots of your lashes, you wiggle it in, and then you move it up. You start at the roots of your lashes, you wiggle it in, and then you brush it up. Okay, when you're applying the top lashes, you look up. When you're applying the bottom lashes, you look down. So this lighter color in the middle, smack your lips to blend the two colors together. Then you just let that dry by using your hands. This is the final look.